So I just have to call this out. This is some bullshit. The fact that they were talking so much smack about dancing Santa. It wasn't even once in the episode. Komi tried to do it, got turned down on, and then just to even see when it was like on the flip side of them buying Komi a birthday / kind of Christmas present, because it does fall on the same day. I was like, God damn, no one respects the dancing Santa in this day and age. These goddamn heathens. But this was a pretty enjoyable episode. In fact, I might go as far as say one of the more enjoyable Komi episodes for me personally, because despite it having so much going on all at the same time, like literally the entire cast that is somewhat friends with Komi was in one location in a cramped room. So normally that would mean like there should be too much going on. It kind of gives me the impression that it should be too many cooks in the kitchen where things, everyone's trying to dominate the screen, but in fact, it actually was one of the tamer episodes despite everyone competing once again for her attention. And the fact that the established kind of setup for this entire thing was simply that it was presented as Christmas, so they were going to exchange presents, and then in return it was a surprise because it was actually her birthday the next day. And the fact that they all just kind of had the little moments throughout it, the fact that you can randomly have Komi's mom just be like, hey, number, kiss, and of course it had to be Tadano, and the fact that I feel like not only did it awaken something in this man, but it also probably awakened something in Komi watching from a distance there. Just there was so much random things going on, but it never really felt like it stepped on its own toes, which sometimes Komi can do because, in my personal opinion, the best parts of Komi are actually the tamest. I think with how much absurd and insane ideas this show has going on, the things that stick out the most to me are typically characters like Tadano, or the more quiet females in the background who, they don't have overly outlandish personalities, but you can understand why they're always in the fantasies of those guys in the previous episodes, wondering who could be the best girlfriend, right? And I think that's what makes, once again, the moment with Tadano so special, because just look at the sitting scene, right? Because they're in her home and everyone's trying to pick the right location to sit so that therefore they would be sitting next to Komi. We have to be smart about it because once she sits down herself, if all the seats are taken, obviously you'll be a little weird, even though they don't recognize how weird they typically are. And I love the fact that once again, even though they continue to call Tadano the most average, boring guy, she sits right next to him. And I mean, we all know that. We all know that Tadano x Komi. That is the one true pairing of the show. Nothing and no one will ever change that. But I think at this point, it's hard to even say, where are these characters going sometimes? Because so many of them are still so oblivious to Komi as a person. The fact that when at the end of the episode they're leaving, a lot of them were saying, oh, she didn't like the surprise. They completely misunderstood the queen that they worship, where some like Tadano and a few of them completely would get that, no, that's just how she is. She's embarrassed because she couldn't speak out loud to say thank you. And the fact that she only says something out loud usually, or at the very least to that amount of confidence, is when Tadano's next to her. So it's interesting because I've had plenty of comments, and I agree with them, to be honest, that the idea of 100 friends and just that number, it is too extreme. I mean, keeping up with a dozen people is hard enough, even in school, right? So what episodes like these do is, in my opinion, it reminds the viewer that despite her eventually gonna get to that 100 mark, it's never gonna be 100 true friends. It's impossible, right? I know the anime will probably, and the manga will probably never explicitly say she doesn't have a true connection with 100 people, but it's hard not to watch an episode like this where you have over a dozen people in one room and only 1 to 3 of them even really understand Komi as a person, because it's not like they don't all want to get to know her. It's that most of them are psychopaths and are busy being GEASS characters trying to manipulate the situations, which I will say the GEASS reference was fantastic. At first, I was like, there's no way they're building up to a GEASS moment, because kind of crazy, as otaku, as chuny as they are, there's no way we're actually getting a Lelouch moment. And then we got a Lelouch moment, and I thought that was pretty fantastic, because, of course, that is the best rivalry you could have if you are going to have a GEASS kind of meme reference, and that was pretty fantastic. But I think that's what makes the Christmas party great, is that rather than it simply just trying to make it seem like every character is on par with Tadano in terms of being connected to Komi, Rather, it's, yeah, they're friends, but the level of friendship is clearly different. And even though they will never admit it, there's only one real person who gets her at that level, and that is our boy Tadano. And I love the fact that they even had the nerve to even call out that he got the date wrong. And at first, because they did an interesting directing choice where it focuses on them coming over first, with her shopping, and then after the party we see it from their perspectives in terms of shopping. So it was kind of interesting to see it flipped around, and I love the fact that even like looking at the stalker me like, wait, did I actually get it wrong? Like, no way I get it wrong. I'm a stalker. I will admit though, there was actually a joke in this episode with said stalker that did make me chuckle, even though I still think she needs to be locked up in an insane asylum. So they got her like this giant cat, which is the perfect gift, and of course, Best Boy was able to figure out the perfect gift. But the fact that she talks about how, like, if she was inside it, she could always be with Komi. Like, as creepy as it was, there was something actually hilarious about that joke. But then I was like, okay, but still, like, we need to separate you from the group here. But it was just a very enjoyable episode. I like Christmas-themed episodes. I love the fact that it's also tied into the birthday. And I like the fact that it really does go to show how much more comfortable she is, that even in a group like that, despite having her embarrassment, she still was rather comfortable and was able to sit beside Best Boy and just continue to flesh out that relationship, right? And the fact that no one really stepped on each other's toes in the scene, and that they really all could have their moments. The shopping was cute. I love seeing Komi's brother and just, you know, the antics that got up into that. It was just a fun episode for me that didn't really have me wishing things would be all that different. Just more so, I just really realized with episodes like these, the best part of Komi is actually when it's not being super jealous towards Tadano and stuff, because clearly they are naturally with their chemistry, right? And the fact that the most boring of the characters or the quieter characters are actually far more engaging than the more outlandish ones, at least for me. I think it's why, like, within the past couple of anime seasons, there's been so many shows, even though they're not Komi, they have similar personality traits, right? And I think what I like is when shows don't just try to be drama for the sake of it, and they don't try to split apart characters who clearly deserve to be around each other. So when episodes of Komi don't really have as much tension of being like, Tadano's a piece of shit and he shouldn't be with Komi, I enjoy them a lot more than the episodes where people are continuing to talk down on the one guy who truly understands her and makes her feel the most comfortable, right? I took a quick glance of opinions on this episode before I got up to record, and it seems like people generally liked it, but I did see some people say that it was one of the weaker episodes, so it'll be interesting to see what the comments think, because for me, this was actually one of the stronger episodes, but then again, opinions vary so much, so maybe the people who are more on the extreme side of Komi consider it more boring because it wasn't as extreme as other episodes. But I think people in a similar boat as me who like the more cool, calm, and collected with the comedy as like an added bonus rather than the defining factor are probably going to love this one. But I guess let me know your feelings down below. What do you hope to see with the future episodes? Because it does feel like we're building up into that winter break. Will they, won't they ever hold hands, kiss, hug, things like that. But going to be cute regardless. So thoughts if you have any down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.